Welcome to this video. I was having a discussion with somebody the other day, and he mentioned the fact that he would like to do certain things. I'm not sure he was entirely certain on what he really wanted to do, but he said, living in the kind of economy we live in the country we live in, and so on, there are so many limitations that exist, financially speaking. And he said, because of that, you find yourself in a mousetrap, or you find yourself going around in an endless vicious cycle, where you just have to keep working so you can just have enough money to stay afloat financially, pay your bills, keep things going, and so on, and not have the resource to be able to reach out to something else that you would like to do. Now, I'd like to answer that question for people that may be facing such a challenge, thinking that, hey, I don't have the money to do what I would like to do, or I'm not really sure what I would like to do, but it's too far of a stretch from where I am right now to get there. Well, I have a couple of suggestions to fix that. Whether you're planning on starting a new career, or starting a new business, or switching a career, or switching a profession, right? I prefer the word profession actually to career, because a profession is what you profess to be, what you will do. Like most people, when you ask them, what do you do? Most of them say, I work for this company or that company, and their identity is in the company name. But you'll find very few people that will say, I do this specifically. For instance, if you were to ask me, what do you do? I would answer, my life goals and what I do is I build people and teams. I help build effective people by helping them discover their life goals and realize their full life potential. And I build teams by training people and leaders, managers, and then connecting the vision of leaders and organizations or teams to the actual people in the teams. Try to think of it in that way. You are in business for yourself, whether you're working for a company or not. See yourself as a partner contributing to the vision of the organization or team you're working in. Or see what you do, try and be able to define it clearly. Now, coming back to the story I told you about with this person I had a discussion with the other day. What do you do in such a situation when you think that you're limited economically? Most of the time you feel like you're in a vicious circle because you have 12-hour shifts or 8-hour shifts or 9-hour shifts, and nobody has it as bad as you do. Well, here's what you do. The first thing involves getting clear on what you want. Well, I could break it down to 3 branches. Getting clear on what you want. First of all, understand what your life goals are. Yeah, right. Understand what my life goals are. That's easy for you to say. If you can't understand what your life goals are, I have a lot of material that can help you get to that point. But if you can't reach out that far, what I would advise you to do is from right where you are, begin to take small steps. Too many people focus on the top. Too many people focus on the end result. But you see, focusing on the end result is not going to get anything done. You need to focus on what you can do now on the way to the end result, the process towards the results. So if you can't focus on your life goals, focus on some kind of long-term goals. These could be goals that you have for the next 5 years or the next 7 years. Maybe in the next 5 years, you want to be a developer. Maybe in the next 5 years, you want to be an established project manager. Maybe in the next 5 years, you want to have at least 2 shops, right? In certain areas in your city. Maybe in the next 5 years, you dream of having your own products or services. So I'll give you an example. About 5 to 7 years ago, I didn't really have much products on the market. They were just ideas. But I began to build gradually, and now I have well over 10 products and services as books, courses, and training material, workshop guides, and so on, because I built it gradually. So number 1, in getting clear on what you want, if you can't understand what your life goals are, I have materials that can help you with that. If you can't think that far and you need help right now, let's break it down a little. Think about the next 5 years, what you want to achieve. Whoa, 5 years. Well, in the training sessions I did, especially with new hires, when I asked them where you see yourself in a year, most of them couldn't even figure that out, right? So if you can't think out as far out as 5 years, then ask yourself, Where would you like to be in the next 6 to 12 months? What are the goals you would like to set and realize in your life within the next 6 to 12 months that are consistent with what you enjoy doing, consistent with how you see yourself, consistent with your strengths, and you can actually visualize and see yourself enjoying being this or doing this or having this within the next 6 to 12 months. So that's the first piece here. Get clear on what you want. Either as understanding your life goals. If you can't think that far out now, think about the next 5 years, what you would like to achieve the next 5 to 7 years, to become, to do, or to have. And if you can't think that far out, let's take 6 to 12 months, right? Let's break it down. Think about what you would like to do in the next 6 to 12 months. Now, here's an exercise for you. You can take out a sheet of paper and think about either life goals, one column, the next 5 years, one column, and the next 6 to 12 months, another column, and see which of the columns you can fill in, right? So this is the first thing you need to do from where you are. If you feel you're in a vicious cycle, or you feel that you're going round in circles, right, or you're economically limited and so on, it all begins with vision. The richest man that ever lived, King Solomon, said that without vision, the people perish, right? You need a vision, you need a picture. If you can't see a future, I used to say a lot when I was a training specialist and manager of talent development, if you can't see a future, you won't have a future. So begin by getting clear on what you want. On a piece of paper, draw out these 3 columns and see which ones you can fill. So that's the first step. In getting clear on what you want, let's decide. If you can't go as far as your life goals or the next 5 years, let's talk about the next 6 to 12 months, and we'll continue in the next video.